What's up, guys? Tom Duppstadt here. So yeah, I just did this whole video, recorded the whole thing, and it turned out to be corrupt, which is wow, what a blow, especially when it comes to such an intense subject matter. But in retrospect, I guess it's best doing it again, right? In case you're wondering about the music, I always like to have music playing. It's better than dead air in the background. It's just some instrumental stuff, some new age instrumental stuff. Just nothing imposing, so it'll take your attention away. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I got some incense burning, so let's get started. So first, I want to give a disclaimer that the words here they're of my own opinion and interpretation on my views in regards to the law of one. I would encourage everyone to read the books on their own, which you may find in the link that I will provide, in an effort to receive the information free from any distortions and that I may unintentionally add here. So, wow. So this is a big topic. So not too many people think about or bother themselves with contemplating the origin of the universe. What little interest there has been has primarily been focused on the origin of our species, which in the scheme of things is actually less important. This lack of interest or curiosity in the origins of the universe is mainly, in what I believe, for the reason of, what's the point? How could that piece of information benefit me in the here and now? And it's a valid question. But let me explain why it actually is the most important. As I described, the trouble with laying out the end result of a truth is that it lacks the contents required to make it real to us. I try to look at it like this, what if you woke up and you're like in the middle of a track and that's all you're given. You see there's a finish line, but you don't know what it's about. Isn't it important to know how you ended up there, or why you were there, or what is the context around the finish line about getting there? Is it a race? Who are the other racers? Why am I racing? What are the rules? That's kind of the situation we're in. So what this blog is about, or this video is about, is creation, as explained through the law of one, the purpose of our existence, the mechanisms in place for growth, and then how to move forward. Now, this doesn't take away anything from religions. In fact, what Law of One manages to do is bridge the knowledge in the other religions together, and that's a really cool thing. So you just take what you learn here and apply it into the context of your of whatever faith you are in. In the Law of One, the Creator wanted to experience manyness. And so it started to expand its consciousness, expanding the universe. And while emerging from its consciousness, an individualized consciousness called the Logos. So the Logos would be a conscious entity that's individualized from the main consciousness of the Creator. And there's an infinite number of those. And so this Logo would be blessed with free will as a co-creator to create our galaxy, or their galaxy, as they saw fit. So other galaxies with their own logos are offered the same opportunity. Now these logos may be considered gods with lowercase g's, and in their creation they may create other logos to help them co-create, and they'll create. So it becomes this like hierarchy of stemming from the main consciousness down into other sub-logos. We fall into the category of sub-logos. So we're like infant creators, we don't know what we're doing. We're not there yet. But we do create our own world. We engineer our own experiences. We engineer our own life. So that's the start of the lesson of a co-creator. It is important to understand that the laws of our galaxy are not the laws of all galaxies, because they are the creative genius and free will of that galaxy's logos. So there are some universal rules, like the law of free will, and levels of ascension. I don't know what all of these are, but all of them would be. But there are some general rules laid down by the Creator in this creation process. However, the natural laws and the design path to ascension may differ from one galaxy to another. So, based on that logos, how they want to engineer the experiences for their sub-logos, that's up to their free will, their choice. Now, of course, this is greatly oversimplifying creation, but that's the gist of it. So as you see, we're all interconnected. We are all individualized extensions, not separate. This is important to note, from the Creator's consciousness. So, meaning you share the same consciousness of all those around you. You share the consciousness of your neighbor, ETs, angels, ascended masters, Martin Luther King, leader of the Ku Klux Klan, Hitler, Gandhi, Jesus, the fly you killed, the plant you ate. You're connected to everything. Now, let's talk about what do you do now? Now that you know that we exist, now you know we're here, now what? Well, there's evolution. I'm not talking about the surface evolution of the 3D material body, but rather the evolution of the spirit, the consciousness. Right? We're born in this universe as conscious beings. However, we're not born into the universe as intelligent beings. Although this doesn't apply to all things in the universe, I'm simply describing us as people in general. There is an evolution. This evolution in the law of one is described as densities, and it's compared to the octaves of a piano. So there are 7 densities within an octave, and each density is an octave of 7 densities, and this goes on forever. So in the first density, we have elements. So you have wind, water, fire, and mineral. Second density are plants and animals. So a tree would be an example of a higher octave second density entity. The third density are people, us. I'll get into the other 3 a little bit later when I'm able to add more context to them. But know that the higher density, the more evolved and less need for the physical shell or body, and we evolve more into pure light beings. The source for law of one, he claims to be of the 6th density, and can only be, he can only, or they can only hypothesize what their 7th density experience would be like. They said they have an idea based on what their teachers have described to them, but just like us, they're going through their evolutionary process. So how do we evolve? Well, each density has a lesson or a goal, and when that goal has been achieved through experience, then you ascend to the next level, to the next density. All densities are influenced and transformed by their own or other densities. The first density of rock and water are influenced through the transformation by wind and fire. Right? So a rock may be transformed by the wind, fire, another rock, water, or other density entities, including plants, animals, and people. So they interact, shape, and transform the rock. The same with water. Water progresses through the inner octaves, would be like a puddle, a pond, a stream, a lake, to a river, to an ocean. With these experiences, from becoming a rain or a bubble or being drunk by animals, the experiences of shaping the rock, or a catalyst in the life and death of other living beings. I mean, we influence the evolution of spirit of animals through interaction with our pets. We're teaching them individualized consciousness. Wow. So there was a great quote by Gregory Sams. He's an artist and he's an explorer of consciousness. And he said, simply because we human beings pick up our perception of the world around us through the tools at hand, it does not follow that they are therefore the only tools through which the world may be experienced. We can hardly guess at what other vessels consciousness might inhabit, complex or simple. For all we know, The tree might be tickled by the ripple of a breeze, volcano excited by its own eruption, the thundercloud proud of its lightning, the mountain sublime in its majesty. And that is absolutely true, you know. And knowing this, I love the knowing. I've come to understand the universe because of this. It is beautiful, it's elegant, it's intelligent. To live by law of one is really humbling. To realize that we all are one and one are all. And I find it particularly fascinating that by our interaction we may influence the development of a life force. How beautiful and how powerful is that? I mean, it has changed how I see all living things and how I interact with them. It goes beyond our influence of each other as people. I'll put a link in, at the bottom here, but in my blog, I have a post called Law of One Experiences of Connection, in which I go through, after learning this, I go through some of the experiences I have. And I had one crazy experience with a bubble. and I was laughing at myself, and I'm like, holy shit, there was a moment, a real moment. And I'll let you read about it. It's worth digging into. It's fascinating. But there are other connections as well. Now, what is unique to our third density experience are the mechanisms that are in place. These mechanisms are only in place within the bounds of the creation of our creator logos. So outside of those bounds, the third density experience may be completely different. So let's think about this part. Let's talk about the value and the importance of free will. So if you were to create this galaxy and were tasked with trying to create the greatest variance of experience, doesn't it make sense that doubt or the unknowing would be the ultimate tool of experience? The key to this experience is free will. It is by our free will and choice that the Creator is able to experience all facets and colors of life, the beautiful, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And as we ascend to higher densities, our consciousness is merged together with others to increase our knowledge and understanding of the universe while maintaining our individualized self. So then, why all the secrecy? Why create this doubt? Why not just let us know everything? I have a blog post that I wrote about this in detail called Law of One Doubt, and why it's so important and why it's actually such a brilliant mechanism. But in short, what it is it's this other facet of free will, is the ability to choose to believe or not to believe. The intrusion of knowing violates free will. So, as in, if angels were to appear before us and all the evidence were gathered in proof of their existence, this is an intrusion of knowing violating free will, because no doubt can be had. We would know it were to be true. Therefore, we would be robbed of free will in deciding for ourselves if they are real. It is not until there is a great consensus that the definitive truth may be revealed, because free will would have not been violated and within acceptable parameters. And that's why channeling has become this effective means as getting the truth of what's out there to the people, because there is doubt. Because of the manner in which you get it, you don't know if it's true, so people are able to choose whether they want to accept that information or not. Very important. So another mechanism that's been put into place is the veil, or the forgetting. So we reincarnate over and over again over thousands of years. Each incarnation, we go through a review. It's a meeting of sorts with our higher self, spirit family, spirit guides, or soul family, soul guides, or council, whatever you want to call it, to establish what has been learned, what still needs to be learned, and how best to incarnate again in a way which those lessons may be learned to best facilitate our growth. I've seen this validated quite a bit in the different books that I've read, from when it talks about past life regressions, out-of-body experiences, and near-death experiences. This has been the consensus, that when we pass, that there is a council, including our higher self, that we meet with to review our life. It's not a judgment. You actually judge yourself. They're not judging you. It's just showing you lessons, some lessons that were missed, some lessons that you still need to learn, and then you plan out your next incarnation and how those lessons can be met. And you make agreements with other souls to help each other out. You pick your parents, you pick your conditions, you even pick your sicknesses, right? Things that are going to help guide you into what you need to be doing. So these are things to think about, like when you think about your parents. What is it you learn from them, or what is it you think you should learn from them? These are significant. So I don't want to go too far there, which is cool, but our growth in our past lives affect how much we know in this incarnation. One thing to note is that somebody asked, past life regressionists, if it looks like that we have a very linear progression. So past life, you're a good person. This life, you're a better person. Next one, it's a better person. And the way it was described is, no, it's not really like that. Like, you can actually get into a past life where you're a horrible person. And the reason why is it's creating a mosaic of experiences. If you are further along in the path, the veil is more easily broken. So the veil is intentionally made to be able to be pierced. These holes in the veil can be experienced through dreams or intuitive interests. What's creative about this whole system is that these mechanisms are not so difficult to experience. However, because you can't prove it, there is always the possibility of doubt. This creates the more varied experience by the choice to believe or not to believe. That's a brilliant system. So you see, the magic in our world, including metaphysics, PSI, which is a psychic phenomenon, the inclusion of the unusual spiritual phenomenon are available to all of us. It is our birthright as the extensions of the Creator. Those born already with the advantages of these gifts have earned that knowledge through past life development or gifted with a purpose. So, however, the veil prevents them from knowing what it is they had learned and what their lessons may be. So having these gifts then allows them to believe in their potential and pierce the veil much easier, because they have gifts that prove to them that there is something else. So it helps you to question more. Given that they pierce this knowledge, this knowing in past lives, allow them to more easily pierce it again in this life, which is a demonstration of an acceleration in the evolution once it has begun. Those who are not already adept from past life development are just as capable as the adept, but it will take time to get the evolutionary wheels moving, so to speak. So it is certainly difficult in the beginning, but these gifts can be attained with the choice to believe. How each person arrives at this belief is up to the individual, but it is only through doing the work and belief that you may pierce the veil. So there's a lot to take in there, but the goal is to create a mosaic of experiences, which I described earlier, both good and bad, to establish our spirit's ultimate frame of mind. What choice do you always return to? The service of self or the service of others? These are the only meaningful choices in our third density experience. Ra describes in the Law of One that good and evil does not exist. There is only what is. So good, evil, and sin are all creations of our own social complex. But neither decision is favored or ignored in pursuit of exploring that choice. Service to others is of a positive polarity, knowing that we are all interconnected. Helping others helps us all, including yourself. Service to self is of a negative polarity and seeks control of all things, including the self. So those are the two choices: service to self, service to others. It's like nature. Nature is unbiased. Nature doesn't see good, bad, evil. It just is. So, and that's what this is. So we make these choices, and either choice is valid. Now, once you have a greater leaning of this choice that has been established, then the ascension to the next density may be possible. You may continue to incarnate into the third density to help further your knowledge and to help humanity with their ascension, but because of the veil, you run the risk of losing that polarity. In the fourth density, because the choice has been made, the veil is then lifted and you are set to incarnate on a fourth density planet or others sharing the same choice. So those of service to self will reside with those of service to self, and service to others will be with people of service to others. Part of our evolution through other densities require us to more deeply pursue the choice that we made. So we want to choose service to others. We're going to learn, go more deeply into that. So helping others in their knowledge and experiences for ascension. This is a very big statement. And the reason why is it's because why we are greatly supported by angels, multidimensional beings, and ETs, because we are all working together for the same goal. We're all working together towards not only the ascension of our people or their people, but for all of us together. So it's like a help one, help all, right? It becomes a very symbiotic relationship between every living thing in the universe, regardless of their current evolution. It is why Ra and many others have extended these messages, because they're doing their part as far as their own evolution. Now, in the book Souls on Earth by Dr. Linda Bachman, this one, what a book. Wow. Take your knowledge to the next level. But she is a past life regressionist through hypnosis, who in the book documented many of what she calls interplanetary souls. Ra calls them wanderers, and they're also described as star seeds. So who are they? These can be multidimensional, the angelic ET beings that incarnate here on Earth in third density on a mission to help with the ascension of our people, including our planet. So remember that the Logos is a living entity, and the Earth is a Logos in a third density planet moving into its own fourth density ascension. Yeah. Wow. That's it for this video. I don't want to get too far off the basics. I will get more into the detail about the veil and what is being termed as the matrix or the holographic universe. You always hear the terminology. It's important to understand that mechanism, why it's in place. But we'll also get more detail into the ascension and what that means as an individual, as it means as a collective, what it means for a planet. A lot of deep stuff, yeah, but I ain't going surface. Like, this isn't the stuff that you're gonna see like over and over again. And so this is getting into the nitty gritty. So do me a favor, help me out, like this video, subscribe to my channel, share the love. All right, meditate, take care of yourself, and take care of each other.